My client paid me $0 for this type of editing.
From the late 60s to the mid 80s, one gold coin dominated the world market. At one point, this coin alone was responsible for 88% of global gold coin sales. If we were to adjust for inflation today, its total sales would be $10.8 billion. But this dominance didn't last forever. The coin had a tremendous fall from grace that spawned from racial politics and failed monetary policy. You may have guessed it, but this coin is the South African gold Krugerrand. The coin's crazy history mixed racist politicians, a fierce gold market, and even led to China and Russia getting involved. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's talk about what the Krugerrand actually is and how it started. What is the gold Krugerrand? Everyone in the gold stacking community knows about the Krugerrand. In 1967, the South African Mint created the gold Krugerrand, and it has absolutely exploded in popularity since. It's a beautiful coin, comes from an interesting part of the world, and due to its global status, holds value incredibly well. Part of the success of the Krugerrand involves the 1970s gold rush. In 1975, new legislation made it legal for Americans to own gold privately for the first time since 1933. That's right, owning gold coins was illegal in the United States for over 40 years. The legalization of private bullion stacking sent shockwaves across the world. Precious metals prices soared, and mints looked for ways to profit from their stockpiles. It only took 11 years for the South African Mint to ship around 22 million Krugerrands to the United States. This is the equivalent of $39.6 billion in today's money. Coins include an obverse and a reverse. The obverse is the front of the coin and the reverse is the back. On the Krugerrand, the obverse bears a detailed portrait of Paul Kruger. Kruger himself was a complicated and controversial figure. More on that later. The reverse of this coin is much less controversial. South Africa's national animal is a variety of antelope called the springbok antelope. On this coin, the springbok antelope dances along the wild fields of South Africa. You'll also find the year and fineness of the coin on the reverse. The Krugerrand is struck using 91.67% pure gold bullion. The purity is actually one of the reasons investors love the Krugerrand. To understand why, we need to take a look at gold's malleability. Gold is known as one of the most malleable metals on the planet. Malleability refers to our ability to easily shape the metal into different forms. This is great news for mints. It allows them to make highly detailed gold coins with relative ease. But this quality also creates a major problem for investors. Because gold can be easily reshaped, 99.99% fine gold coins are also really easily damaged. To get around this issue, the South African Mint made their Krugerrands using a copper-gold alloy. Alloys are a combination of different metals. By combining the malleable gold with durable copper, they made a coin that could survive being moved without taking any kind of damage. It's weird to think that a gold coin could become better when watered down with plumbing metal. Other coins aren't so lucky. Case in point, the $1 million Canadian gold maple. Only 5 of these 100,000 gram Canadian gold maple coins were ever made, and they're struck with a record-breaking 99.999% fine gold. A wealthy collector once bought one of these coins, deciding to display it prominently at his office. But he kept the coin upright. With a coin of this size, gravity had something else to say. Over time, gravity started to pull the coin downward, and after several months on display, the collector noticed something had changed. His massive, priceless gold coin was now bent. All it took was a little bit of gravity and time for $1 million gold coin to become a tragic and maybe a little bit funny story. This tale of the bent big maple leaf coin does teach us an important lesson. While 99.99% pure gold coins are popular collector's items, the Krugerrand's extreme durability helped make it an instant success. The Krugerrand enjoyed quite a bit of popularity for years following its initial release. But then, something happened that would change the coin's history forever. The embargoes. Not all coins can boast that they were once banned by several major governments. But for the South African Mint, this world record isn't a point of pride. Instead, the events we're about to discuss caused the Krugerrand to go from the world's most popular gold coin to a pariah. To understand how the world's most dominant coin became the first illegal coin, we'll need a little bit more information about what was going on in South Africa at the time. From the late 1940s to the early 1990s, South Africa had adopted something called the apartheid system. Apartheid was a form of racial segregation. In South Africa, there was a small but powerful white population. In order to keep this minority population in power, politicians instituted apartheid. Black South Africans were segregated from whites in nearly every part of daily life, including the beaches. During the 1970s and 80s, the unfair apartheid system became a major source of international controversy. Finally, governments were starting to take notice of an unjust and racist system. But the global response to South Africa's apartheid government had an unlikely victim. That's right, the Krugerrand. In 1985, the United States passed a law banning the import of Krugerrands. Aside from belonging to the South African government, what did the Krugerrand do to deserve such a fate? Now let's revisit Paul Kruger, who was mentioned in the beginning of the video. Kruger's portrait appears on the front of the gold Krugerrand. Kruger himself is a controversial figure, a Dutch general who tried to unify South Africa into one country, but the path to accomplishing this goal was bloody and tragic. Kruger's South African government set the stage for what would eventually become the vicious apartheid system. His role in establishing a white, racist government in South Africa helps make the Krugerrand an even more controversial coin. Historians don't always agree on Kruger's legacy. Some consider him a tragic folk hero who helped fight for South Africa's independence. Others see him as nothing more than a racist conqueror whose choices helped define decades of black oppression. In either case, Kruger's portrait represented everything the American government hated about South Africa's blatantly racist system. As a result, in 1985, the full weight of the U.S. government stamped out the Krugerrand's hopes of staying at the top of coin collectors' wish lists. Understandably, people freaked out when their favorite coin was subject of an embargo. Many coin collectors didn't even know what to do with the news. Some investors were saying it would become illegal to own a gold Krugerrand, leading coin holders to panic, sell their coins. The weird part, it was never actually illegal to own Krugerrands. Some smart investors actually read the fine print. They figured out that the coin wasn't being banned. The U.S. government was only making it illegal to import the gold Krugerrand from South Africa to the United States. A 1985 story from the Washington Post explained, the Reagan administration's decision to ban the import of South African Krugerrands caused a flurry of new demand for the gold coins yesterday as speculators began buying them up in anticipation of future scarcity, according to a leading Washington area dealer in coins. In other words, the ban had made it harder to get a hold of Krugerrands. Anticipating the scarcity, smart collectors began buying them in bulk to resell later. But the story of the world's most illegal coin doesn't end there. Before our story is over, we're going to see how apartheid actually led to new coins being produced all over the world. That's right, the Krugerrand's downfall in the 1980s was the cause for some of the coolest gold coins on the market today. A successor coin appears. Remember earlier when I said that the Krugerrand was the most popular gold coin the world had ever seen? With this massive player officially off the market in the 1980s, world governments knew there was only one more thing to do: make their own gold coins. I mean, somebody had to take over the market. The global ban on the gold Krugerrand tanked its sales, which left a hole in the international coin market. And with that, the floodgates opened for the 1980s gold minting rush. Dozens of governments tried minting their old gold coins during this period. Honestly, the list is too long to run through, but Canada, Great Britain, and of course the United States rose to the top of the pile in the next decade. It's weird to think that something as dark as South African apartheid and racism could lead to some of the world's most famous gold coins. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but take a look at almost every one of the top gold coins in the world. What do they have in common? First minted in 1986 or 87. Many of these coins were winners. Some of the less popular countries of the time, aka China and the Soviet Union, not so much. Gone are the days when one coin dominated the global coin market. Now, countries from all over the world compete for that top spot. Which coin will win the title of the world's most popular gold coin? Will it be the American Gold Eagle? Maybe it'll be the Canadian Gold Maple. The trophy might even go to the Austrian Gold Philharmonic. Or could it be the South African Gold Krugerrand? The embargo finally ended in 1991 after the South African government started to dismantle its oppressive apartheid system. Sales numbers for the gold Krugerrand never fully recovered, but somehow the coin continues to be one of the most popular coins of our day. After all that history and controversy, investors still haven't fallen out of love with the gold Krugerrand. In 2010, the South African Mint minted 528,000 gold Krugerrands for excited collectors. Compare this to the American Gold Eagle. Only 54,000 gold eagles were minted in that same year. So is the Krugerrand still the king of coins? It should go without saying, but the coin market today looks vastly different than it did 50 years ago. Today, there's almost too many coins on the market. Could we just calm down with the new releases, please? New coin collectors have tons of coins to look through. The American Gold Eagle, the American Gold Buffalo, the British Gold Britannia, and countless other coins are constantly jockeying to become the world's highest selling coin. The Krugerrand might have the edge right now, despite its controversial history. But will the trend hold? That's up to you, our fellow hero stackers. In the end, the tale of the Krugerrand includes everything we love to see in a story. You've got a rise to power and a fall back from grace. And now, a comeback. That's it for today. Do you want to see a video on your favorite coin? Let us know by dropping a comment down below. Until next time, stack like it's going out of style.